Hi, I'm going to be talking about chapter 14, The Knitting Done. So, obviously, this focus is going to be on Madame Defarge as she has that motif surrounding her. And what does this all mean for poor little Lucy and her family now that this book is coming to an end? So, we get to see in this chapter the differences between how Madame Defarge and Monsieur Defarge regard Lucy and little Lucy. So, things to look for is on page 356, we see towards, I don't know, the bottom third, Madame Defarge says, I cannot trust my husband in this matter. So, in this matter means regarding Lucy and her family. So, Monsieur Defarge does not think that Dr. Manette and Lucy and little Lucy should be killed because they didn't do anything wrong. Whereas Madame Defarge has a totally different take on this. So we're going to see that they're going to differ, and we're also going to see that Madame Defarge is going to start taking some things into her own hand. So if you were thinking of this as a movie or a television series, like think about how this would be directed. So we have Madame Defarge still being very calm, cool, and collected as she's talking with the Vengeance and Jacques 3. But we know that she just cannot get rid of this grudge that she has for the Evrémonde family. And we have Jacques 3. We do get to see that he still is in this bloodthirsty mode as a revolutionary. He doesn't care who is being killed as long as the quota of 52 a day is being met. He even says at one point on page 356, we seldom have children there. Wouldn't that be exciting to have a child also killed? And so we get to see that it just becomes very violent, and the justice of it all isn't about justice anymore. It's just about filling the quota and getting your bloodthirst satisfied. So we start to see, even though Monsieur Defarge is not in this chapter, we now get to see that Madame Defarge is taking the reins, and she's going to do whatever she needs to do to be able to satisfy the curse of the Evrémondes, and she wants to be even with the Evrémondes and have finally win in the end. So on page 358, we start to see how this may come together. She says that she knows that Lucy and her daughter will be at home. So she is full of rage. She's full of revenge. On page 359, at the top, the first paragraph, it says, of a strong and fearless character, and this is Madame Defarge, of shrewd sense and readiness, of great determination, of that kind of beauty which not only seems to impart to its possessor firmness and animosity, but to strike into others an instinctive recognition of those qualities. The troubled time would have heaved her up under any circumstances. But, imbued from her childhood with a brooding sense of wrong and an invertebrate hatred of a class, opportunity had developed her into a tigress. She was absolutely without pity. If she had ever had virtue in her, it had quite gone out of her. So one thing to ask is, do you blame her? After what she witnessed and what she was put through with Evrémonde families as a girl, do you blame her? So she is moving on that same page, 359. She has loaded with her. It says she's lying hidden in her bosom was a loaded pistol, lying hidden at her waist was a sharpened dagger. So we see that she is full of rage, and she is going to the Manette's home, or where they're staying, in order to enact some revenge. So on page 360, moving on, we have Jerry Cruncher and Miss Pross. Again, minor characters that play a very, very important role. One of the questions I think you had to answer for this chapter were what were the promises that Jerry Cruncher makes to Miss Pross. And so we get to see a transformation of Jerry Cruncher as well. So on page 360, 361 is where you'll find those answers about how Jerry is changing because of all the life experience he has had, helping the Manettes and going to France to and fro, and some of the characters such as Sidney Carton that has shown that being evil is not the way to go. So I'm going to continue on with another video because we're going to move into a second part of the chapter. So hopefully this chapter is getting good and you kind of can't put it down. I mean, what more could you possibly want than a rainy Monday just reading a good book? So again, I'll see you in just a sec.